So would you believe that the other Tyler is the girl? Kevon is actually Kevin, which should be a misdemeanor. And I would hate that Steven dude even if I didn't know what I know. Oh, and by the way y'all hated season 8 and season 9, even though I told y'all not to, this is worse. So, yeah. All right, welcome to Tate's Take. If you're new here, today we're talking about the first 6 episodes of the new Love is Blind season 10. And that's all I've seen, but I'm gonna be talking about them like you've seen them too. If that's something you're into, hit that subscribe button for your boy from our regular Tate's Takers. Look, these ain't the most action-packed first 6 episodes of the Love is Blind season, but we're gonna have to get through them the only way we know how, together. And boom, episode 1. This one's called Honey, I'm Home. We start out by seeing Nick Lachey doing that OH chant. I didn't even know he was from there. I thought it was Stolen Valor, but Vanessa does tell us he is indeed from there. You know, we always start with those quick moments of Nick and Vanessa getting to know the crew. Not too much life-changing stuff here, but a couple highlights. Kevin wants to find his best friend. Alyssa says guys want to take her home, but not take her home to mama. Hair mole already tweaking. Relax, bro. I don't even know what he said. Okay, now get serious. Because then we find out that Emma was adopted from China. And she had 10 surgeries to get rid of a birthmark that could have caused melanoma. Whoa. Then over to the other Tyler, who knew? She tells us that Jesus died single and that she doesn't need to die single. How you know Jesus died single? Probably had a team of low-key baddies. Well, what I had wrote next, I'll just skip it. I said that he probably had a team of baddies that are throwing it back for Christ. Steven. Jump scare. Whoa. Okay, now the pods are open. Early pod energies before we settle into our love triangles. Amber and Jordan have a pod date. She drops that 7-year-old daughter Emma talk track, says she likes making her waffles. That's very nice. Then there's actually a nice little speech here about her being broke at one point, but her daughter didn't know. It's like the kid was just happy to be around her. It's kind of this whole message around kids don't need money, they just need love. I mean, of course, you got to feed these kids, but the point is, as long as you're not still broke, it was a nice lesson. Then we go to Black Man Victor. Hello, Black Man Victor. He's from Brooklyn. Holy moly. He has a pod date with Christine. And would you look at that? He's a professor of public policy specializing in data and... Wake me up when we fucking get there, bro. Freaking snooze fest. What even is that? Whatever. Then he asks Christine, are you a Christian? She says, 100%. The next thing he says is, do you tell your parents you were coming on this show? Whoa, holy transition, my boy. Then we spend some time with Chris and Jess. This dude talks exactly how he looks. We find out that he was in Kuwait in the Black Hawk unit and that she was divorced. Chris and Brianna go on a pod date and apparently they call her Breezy. So I have no choice but to call them as a couple, Chris Breezy. They're bonding over being competitive. Thrilling. Then we got Bree and Connor. Breezy and I guess who people call Spees. They bond over the song Mr. Brightside. What even is that? Hold on, let me see. Oh. Why didn't you say that? Mr. Brightside. That's a good song. The point is, Connor is already in love. Then we got a pod date with Connor and Emma. She works in fashion. He sells dumpsters. Whoa. I thought it was one of those things where like, I'm just joking. I hope you would just love me for me. But no, he sells them things. This girl talking about, where will we be without dumpsters? Yeah, all right. Okay, then she talks about being self-conscious about her scars. She loves the idea of Love is Blind. She's definitely here for the right reasons. Then Emma and Mike have a pod date. She's unsure about having kids. Talks about being adopted and not knowing if she's going to pass down these things to the kids. That's what she's telling us. She's not telling him yet. She don't want to reveal these things to any of the guys she's dating. But also, like, can they do tests for that kind of shit? Like, you know, you go in there with your partner, sit down with the doctor, and they're like, look, this is what you guys are predisposed to and all that bullshit. I don't know. It's not medical advice. Oh, shit. Then we got Emma and Steven. Emma, run! He tells her, I'm not going to be diving right into the deep questions. Yeah, I bet. Then they talk about her adopted dog. He's like, let's go from dog to human. Okay, Tyler. He says, do you ever think you'd adopt a child? What happened to not getting deep, Steven? She's like, fuck. How did he know? He tells her, when I get back home, I'm going to be doing the Big Brother program pretty hard. No, you're not. What would have been cool is if you said, I've been volunteering with the Big Brother program for years and it's been so fulfilling. But no, you want to be a freaking freak and sneak in some nudes. Sorry about that. Then he tells that sob story of his grandpa, the World War II vet, bagging that French bank teller. What the fuck side was he on? Whatever, he probably made that shit up anyway. So, all right, back to MQ and WQ. And then for anyone who's new here, obviously MQ is the male quarters and WQ is the women's quarters. Right. We're here for that early ass annoying energy where everybody like everybody. In MQ, Jordan is making that fire breakfast and those croissants look like they about to go crazy. In WQ, I guess Kia's trying to bag Tyler. Tyler don't even know Amber's name. And you just see my boo Priyanka here just doing her own thing. All right, now we're back in the pods. Kia and Kevin have a pod date. They're talking about their favorite movies. He says, one of my favorite movies is Interstellar. This dude got class. Then he says, I also really like Love and Basketball. This girl has the nerve to tell him that Love and Basketball is one of the worst movies ever made. I'm sorry. Have fun getting your freaking black card back. Her favorite is Love Jones. She working her way back, y'all. Then I wrote, Kevin seems cool, but he also likes Tyler, so he officially friend-zoned Kia. Now Kevin's in the pod with Tyler. She's telling him about getting to the director level at her job before age 30 without even code switching. But she would still leave that shit if it was for a husband, which, oh. Then Ashley and Alex have a pod day, and here's what I wrote. Right away, Alex will fail at this experiment. Got the immediate ick from this dude. Anyway, Ashley asks him at some point, do you like kissing? He says, I didn't get any bad reviews. Brother, what did she ask you? She tells us that her dad always said she's a bad picker of men, and I'm afraid this motherfucker is spitting. Anyway, this girl has no idea how much Alex sucks, and they're having a nice time together. And in TMI News of the World, she tells us, I gotta go freshen up the downtown. God damn, she leaking. She's soaking wet. Emma and Mike have another pod date. She's basically saying she wasn't fucking with him at first, but she's coming around. He's lobbying very hard for her to have kids, laying it on thick, my boy. She's basically like, is that a deal breaker if I don't want to have kids with your bitch ass? He's like, look, if I love you, it would be tough. I won't lie. Emma and Connor have another pod date. She thinks the convo is surface level. And he reminds her of her other relationship. She's crying about something or another. Now we're back with her and Steven. Of course, this sexual deviant is asking her, what is she wearing right now? She's like, look, bro, just can you stay focused, please? She asks him, hey, if you were a magazine, what magazine would you be? He says GQ. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that was a pretty good question. I think I'll be Vibe magazine, but you guys are probably too young for that. Emma asks Steven, bro, do you just joke around all the time? He's like, no, I can be deep. Again, without knowing what we know, I would still say that Steven sucks. Over to Black Man Victor and Christine on their pod date eating dinner, talking about weed and how they both got misdemeanors for getting caught with it. Okay. This dude Victor talks like he should read audiobooks for people that have trouble sleeping. That's all I gotta say. Like I said, it's not a lot to work with here, so yeah. She opens up about her mom not being healed and denying therapy. Her dad wasn't the best either. Something about getting pulled over and he gave her pills to hold. Ugh. Then he opens up about his mom getting abused. Christine's like, has she healed? He's like, oh yeah, she's strong. What did you say, my mom weak? Whatever. Then he wrote a poem for her. I guess they're in love. Unfortunately, then we're back with Emma and Steven on another pod date, and I already hate it. She finally tells him that she was adopted. He's trying to figure out what she looks like. He cuts her off so much, it's literally distracting. You would think he can't hear her. Then she finally tells him about her surgeries and how she has birthmarks all over her body. While she's saying all this, he's scribbling things down like Regina George and Mean Girls. This fugly slut. I'm obviously just kidding. He asks her, hey, you getting sad over there? I bet I can get you out of this funk. Let me tell you about my first kiss. And would you believe she didn't want to kiss me? But I knew she really wanted to. So what I did was take her by the neck. Obviously, it's nothing funny about SA. Moving on. This freaking creep Steve then has to know about hers. She's like, look, it was pretty boring, bro. I was in high school and I kissed a boy. Then, of course, he asked her about losing her virginity and how he was a late bloomer. He asked her, so you were like a freshman in college? She's like, yeah, I guess, nigga. He's like, well, I was about 19 or 20. And you're going to love this story too. Spoiler fucking alert. No one would love this story. He's like, it was just like in The Notebook. She's like, I never seen that thing. You never seen The Notebook? Rachel McAdams on the house floor and she can't deny him. Uh-oh. Like the jarring amount of red flags My girl on TikTok didn't even need to come forward. Whatever, this will easily be the most cringy pod date the whole season. He says she's walled off. He's like, I got deep. I'll tell you about my first kiss. She starts literally crying, and he says, sorry, but sounds like it's time for another claw. Yeah, he sucks. I don't know. I don't know what to say. She calls him out for all the interruption. He says, I wasn't doing that. The problem is, he's still doing it. She tells him they are not for each other. Then this fuck goes back to MQ and tells the boys, yeah, I told her it wasn't going to work for me. Steven. Okay, now we're back with Vic and Christine. Is he about to propose to that thing? They doing all these flashbacks, talking about her accident. She's asking him about all the people he's dated. She's like, were they all, the same? He's like, yeah, they were always very feminine. What does that even mean? She's like, yeah, but what about, culturally? He's like, well, yeah, I think I date the whole gamut. Nigga, she wants to know if you date white girls. He says, well, in New York, you're exposed to... Stop. Okay, let me get it. In New York, you're exposed to so many cultures and ethnicities. I want to know, where's your heart? What are your values? The culture thing, I couldn't care less about. Uh-oh. Let me find out that black man, Professor Vic, is one of them I don't see color niggas. Culture will always be important. I don't know if this video will reach you, my boy. Whatever, they say I love you. She says some prayer for him, and the next thing I know, this dude gets down on one knee and proposes. She says yes. Episode 1. There's always one. And obviously, I know that all the proposals happen on the same day, but relax. And you already know the drill. I got a report on the love levels at the Qs. Mediocre love at MQ, good love at WQ. These girls in WQ got a lot of feelings. Then all of a sudden, my boo Priyanka talking about farting in her sleep, and you see Alyssa crashing out of nowhere. Then the cops show up. Let me find out Steven broke into WQ. I can assure you that was the last one. It's not funny. I'm gonna relax. But when you leave, I'll be tweaking again. Boom! Episode 2. This one's called A Sticky Situation. So Alyssa pulls back up. This idiot put nail glue in her eyes, thinking they were drops. What a freaking moron. That's the craziest thing that happened this whole 6 episodes. Spoiler alert. Now, I must admit, Ashley got that love is half blind joke off, and I hate that I didn't think of it first. Okay, over to the Victor and Christine reveal. Our first reveal, and these people got the nerve to play the Jet 2 holiday song. It's a decent reveal, I can't lie, but her lip gloss had this nigga's lips juicy. It's a decent reveal, I can't lie, but her lip gloss had this nigga's lips juicy as hell in the second proposal, but that's not important. Back to WQ. I already forgot about Emma and Steven. The damn girl got 3 connections, and she's out here crying about Steven. Even Tyler was like, bitch, was he even your number 1? Another pod date with Mike and Emma. They're talking about kids again. And now, of course, she's crying about being adopted. This whole thing about bringing a child into the world, not knowing her parents, and what she could possibly pass down. He thanks her for sharing. He's like, well, I was born premature. Had a lot of trouble breathing. I actually flatlined, and they brought me back to life. I'm sorry, this dude literally died at birth. Like, well, actually, no, I'm not going to comment on that. Whatever. Emma's like, yeah, well, yeah, that sucks too. Listen, they're bad. Okay, another pod date with Emma. I swear Emma's the only one that get to go on pod dates, but whatever. This is Emma and Connor. Spoiler alert, she's crying about the adoption and her scars. He thanks her for sharing. He basically saying the same shit Mike said. Netflix could have just played this shit side by side. They both tell each other they're in each other's top 2s, but she tells us she thinks she's going to end up with Connor. Okay. Over to MQ before another pod date with Amber and Jordan. He tells us he's nervous about meeting her kid and how he told Love is Blind his only deal breaker is if a woman had kids. Now look at you. In the pods, she's talking about how she used to not be hot, how she was a skinny redhead nerd poor kid who got fake axed out in the 6th grade, which is very not cool. Then he tells her about the learning troubles he had and how that teacher and his ex call him stupid. And that's just not very nice. He tells her, I just hope there's chemistry when we meet. She's like, no. As long as you're not some 60-year-old man who's fat and nasty. He's like, well, I'm not 60. Then we got a pod date with Kevin and Tyler. They're talking about the same thing as last time. Moving for her job, kids. He asks her, how would you feel if for some reason they couldn't have kids? She says her motto in life is to cry a river, build a bridge, and get over it. Whoa, what do y'all think about that? Seriously, though, in the comments, what do you think about that? I don't know if you're not supposed to be wallowing in pity. It just seems a little cold. But then maybe it's the only way to do life. Your thoughts. Then she asked him, is there anything your child can do that will cause you to distance yourself from them? He's like, nah. She's like, what about sexuality? And by the way, those are two back-to-back good questions. Like, what would you feel if you couldn't have kids for some reason? And just questions about this, like that's, I gotta give him that. I gotta give him the props. Anyway, he's like, no. I'll be welcoming. He says, I have a vision of how I want my son to be, but you are who you are. Translation, he hopes his hypothetical son is not gay. She says, yeah, every guy I've ever dated told her that their son would never be gay and how they would just take him to the strip club. Freaking yikes. Like, what kind of moron? Why do you think the strip club would be what would that do? Whatever. Now Kevin got to get the momentum back. So he tells her how his mom almost died from a rare blood infection when he was a kid suspended from high school. Apparently, if he wasn't suspended, his mom would have been gone, which is wild. You hate to hear that. She literally lost her leg as a result of it. This date ends by her asking, do you feel like you have strong emotions for more than one person? He says, and I quote, I don't. And we'll see how that works out. Meanwhile, back at Dub Q, Tyler's trying to figure out who else is dating Kevin. Kia's over there like, now we got a pod date between Kevin and Kia where he was supposed to break it off with her. She's like, man, it's so nice to hear your voice. I didn't think anyone was going to be there when I opened the door. This dude's Kevin's like, yeah, about that. He's trying to spare her feelings, but she can sense it. She basically talked himself into getting to know her more. This was just a long-ass pod date just for him to not break it off with her and keep her hopes up for another day. Then we're back at MQ with Chef Jordan Ramsay making some chocolate chip cookies for Amber and the rest of the Dub Q, and that's a power move if I ever seen one. In that pod date, Jordan and Amber are talking about his thoughts around getting into Emma's life. That's her daughter. Then he wrote a little speechy speech to the most beautiful person that I've never seen. This nigga's batting 1,000. He gets down on one knee and proposes. Holy moly, she says yes. Low turnout for the Dub Q love. Very warm MQ love. Don't want to speak too early, but this dude Jordan might be a real one. Staying in Dub Q, Tyler's going on about how much of a good place she's in front of Kia. And to the pods with Kevin and Kia we go. He's still saying the same things over and over, but Kia's starting to clock it. She's like, were you excited to come on this date? He knows he's losing the momentum, so he got to tell her the mom losing her leg story. It's not enough. She's like, yeah, that sucks. My dad died and my mom's always battled addiction. Yeesh. Then she tells him the watch story about how her dad liked to collect watches and how she can never fully bring herself to getting her own. She finally got one, and it's a constant reminder to be present and ask tough questions. Listen, Kia is an excellent woman. She knows Kevin is remedial, and she's still trying to get him to level up. Back at Dub Q, Tyler's talking about who has a number 2 they've been stringing along. She knows Kevin is dating Kia. She's like, you could be my man's side bitch. Wait, which one was the one that said she was a girl's girl? Because that is critical. Kia comes back from the date saying she's shaking and that it was such a good time. Then we got another exhausting pod date with Kevin and Tyler. Kevin came in with that low-ass energy. Kevin, how you coming with low-ass energy and you about to eat In-N-Out? And how the hell they got In-N-Out in Ohio? Anyway, what I wrote here was, honestly, this dude is extremely easy to figure out. He's out here wasting everyone's time. He's trying to make the excuse about the logistics now. Moving to Columbus or someone moving to him. Because, like my mom, I'm sure your mom's fine, bro. Shut up. He's doing the thing where men would like half start a sentence and then try to let the woman explain himself to himself because he's not man enough to say it himself, And now she's crying. She pissed off because she ain't even touched the In-N-Out. Then here goes Kevin. Your energy. You're so great. She was like, Kevin, I have to stop you right there. I don't need another speech about how great I am. Yeesh. Go off, queen. And that's exactly what the fuck she did, because she surely got up out of there. She left that In-N-Out untouched, like how Kevin McAllister left that mac and cheese in Home Alone 1. Kevin's still in there talking to himself like a freaking dweeb. Shut your bitch ass. Boom! Episode 3. This one's called Redo. And I ain't gonna lie, episode 2 left us with that cliffhanger of the Amber and Jordan reveal. But Amber, what are these poses? Anyway, the reveal was fine. I feel like she didn't say anything. Anyway, new character alert. Brittany W finally gained some TV time. She's on a pod date with Devontae. Forgot about this Drewski Jack Harlow mashup. They seem to be grooving along, talking about delivering babies, dancing at weddings. Then we find out that production pulled him aside to let him know that sadly his grandpa has passed away. But he has decided to continue with the experiment. Then we get a pod date with Alex and Ashley. This is where we found out that Alex is a soccer coach because he had to stop playing himself after having a whole bunch of injuries and surgeries. Then he tells a story of watching the soccer draft with his teammates. He was able to see his teammate get drafted at number 13. He says that he was projected to be a top 5 pick and at the very least a top 10 pick. Then he explains how before he was drafted at 23, the whole team was so excited for the other teammate that they all left him in his house sad and lonely. And for some reason, I couldn't help but think maybe it wasn't their fault. You ever seen the movie Draft Day where Kevin Costner was a GM of a football team and he didn't want to draft Bo Callahan because his teammates didn't go to his birthday party? Yeah, it may sound frivolous, but is it not a reflection of you? Basically, Kevin Costner was saying, if his own teammates don't fuck with him, I can't draft him, even if he's supposed to be so good. I never seen Draft Day? Well, that's how I feel about Alex. I don't trust him. Anyway, meanwhile, back at MQ, we got Kevin sulking all over the goddamn place. Tyler's in Dub Q getting all the support after coming back crying. Then Kia got to watch this all weird because, yeah, I guess he chose me, but what did my man do to make this girl cry like that? Kia, like a real one, goes to show love. Tyler's like, I know your man. He's a good man. I just need a minute. Kia comes back like, bitch, we all signed up for the same thing. Let's not play victim. And high key, yeah, go off, Kia. Now production god is talking to Tyler like, so what happened? Well, he told me how great I was, and I'm not listening to another speech about how great I am. So I got the fuck up out of there. Production god is like, isn't that what you always do? Oh. He's like, you can leave, but just know there's still time on the date. She's like, well, I don't even know if he will still even be up in there. Production god's like, I could ask. Freaking Tyler comes back into Dub Q and she's like, redo. Freaking Priyanka, not a redo. Love her boo. Kia's looking around like, what the fuck even is this? And also, I'll be remiss if I didn't shout out that 100% grapefruit juice. Real niggas know. See what we dealing with in season 10? That I gotta shout out the fucking grapefruit juice. But I do love grapefruit juice. So, if someone wants to give me a Valentine's Day gift, will be a good start. Okay, so the freaking Kevin and Tyler pod date part 2. She tells him, thank you for coming back. He apologizes for making her think that he was choosing someone else. She said she needs to know that she has time to love him before saying yes at the altar. I need to be a girlfriend before I'm a fiance. Tyler comes back to Dub Q and apologizes to Kia. Kia's like, okay, bitch. I know. Emotions are high. They hug it out. Okay, then we get into the breezy Connor-Chris love triangle. This is a complete snooze fest, so let me spare you the details. All you need to know is that Connor is her number 1 and Jess is Chris' number 1. So it ain't even a damn love triangle. The only thing with Chris and Jess is that she's 38 and he's 32. Besides that, they seem to be grooving along. This man, Chris, tells her he has one other connection, which is Bree, but that it's like hanging out with a dude. Ouch. Then my short king starts hyperventilating when she tells him she loves her 6-inch heels. Relax, bruv. So yeah, that's it. Then they hit us with an Ashley and Alex montage. Was he about to propose? I really hope not, because I already told y'all I don't trust him, and I will clip this if I end up being right. Also, I'll be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that Ashley's dad used to call her Crashly because she's so clumsy. That is elite wordplay. Not important for the video, but elite wordplay. But yes, Alex does indeed get on one knee and proposes. She says yes. Then we get a waste of time pod date with Emma and Connor. Brings back up the kid thing. He's about to eliminate himself because he's so serious about having kids. And I refuse to repeat her stance. Then we're in the pods with Connor and Breezy. The only important thing here is that we find out that his mom wrote him 3 cards before he went on the show, which is super nice. Then he's telling her about how his mom worked her way up from being a receptionist at her job to now being a data analyst, and how proud he is of both his parents. Whatever happens with the relationship, like, I have a feeling that his parents gonna be my favorites when we go to, when we get out of the house, if we get out of the house. So that's all I want to say about that. Oh, and at the end of their pod date, they're both saying how they're gonna drop their other connections. He's gonna drop Emma, and she's gonna drop Chris. Then we gotta go to the Alex and Ashley reveal. It seems fine, but like I said, it won't work out. It won't work out. And it sucks because Ashley does seem to be really nice. Then we're at the pod date where Breezy is about to break up with Chris. Chris Breezy is no more. She's like, this is tough, but I only want to explore my other connection. Chris is like, oh shit, so do I. We lit. See how happy he is that he had to do it? He would have dragged that thing out. You see how, whatever. Then we got the pod date with Connor and Emma where he got to break up with her. She tells him her gut is telling her it's you. He's like, fuck. Like, you see how easy it was for Bree to tell Chris, whatever. Men be dancing around shit for so, just spit it out. It's part of the show. Now he's telling her he hasn't decided anything. What the fuck? She's like, I think we both just need to say what we want to do. Boom! Episode 4. This one's called Stage 5 Clinger. We are back with Emma and Connor. Get excited. I guess he stumbles into ending it with Emma. Then we're in the pods with Brittany W. and Devontae. She's talking about how she likes pod dates because she low-key be stinking. He talks about his strained relationship with his dad. His dad walked out on him when he was 3 years old and was dead by the time he was 18. She says she's in a season of celibacy. And after all that, they both got the tingly winglies. When last time y'all had some tingly winglies? Then to a pod date with Chris and Jess. I guess he's about to propose. And yeah, he does propose. She says yes. All right, I would have skipped this whole next pod date with Emma and Mike, but I have to call her out because she tells him, today, me and my second ended things. Didn't you just tell us he was your first? Come on, boo. She does admit that it was him ending it with her, but she's still down to keep this thing going with Mike. Then we got the pod date with Connor and Breezy. Maybe he proposes here. She wrote some things down, he wrote some things down, and he does indeed propose. She says yes. Back to the dreadful Kevin, Kia, and Tyler love triangle. Starting with a pod date with Kevin and Kia, I swear this is like Groundhog's Day. Here we got the gift exchange, and damn, she got him a watch. She's playing hardball as fuck. But like, is he keeping that watch if he picks Tyler? It's kind of like when the Fresh Prince took all those gifts from that rich girl, even though he didn't like her. Remember? Whatever. Then Kevin gets up and gives another pointless speech about her deserving the world. Now it's time for her to open up her gift. This nigga got her a small ass basketball, talking about how he wants to be the LeBron James of fathers. It might be officially time to start calling Kevin Devin. If you know, you know. Whatever. Kevin's up there filibustering. He's like, today I realized I need to let Kia win. Kia's like, okay, I need to let everybody win. What the hell you just say? Kevin says, I don't know if I deserve the love of either of my connections. No, you don't. Back at Dub Q, Kia shows the girls this stupid basketball that she got. Freaking Tyler storms off into a pod with Kevin like, I can't with the bullshit anymore. Direct quote. She says, I want to be someone's undeniable choice. He calls her phenomenal. The same thing he called Kia. Tyler says, I need you to be dating only me. You got to make a decision right now. He gives the speech again. She's like, shut the hell up. What are you going to do, Kevin? Kevin says, I'm choosing Tyler. Tyler, he is indeed not choosing you. She's like, I'm your girlfriend? He's like, yeah. And you're my boyfriend? Yeah, I guess. Poor thing has no idea how poorly this will end. But I will be here to remind her. She asks him, do you love Kia? He's like, well, you know, love is a strong word. She's like, bro, do you know you're supposed to propose tomorrow? She's like, okay, I'm out. He's like, okay, I choose you. She's like, then prove it. He's like, damn. Bruh. Okay, over to a pod date with Devontae and Brittany W. He probably about to propose to that thing. And does. And kudos to him for proposing without ripping those tight-ass jeans. Oh, she said yes. Then we got the Chris and Jess reveal. Seemed fine. They like each other, and they're both relieved that she's only 5 feet tall. My short king can breathe easy. She tells us he's never going to let me down. Let's hope so. Okay, pod date with Emma and Mike. She got him a gift of a bunch of letters that her mom wrote about her. Of course, this is not a watch, but it's nice. I wish I had a box of letters like this. His gift for her was a scrapbook that they can fill out together. They decide that they are now boyfriend and girlfriend. And he's still trying to convince her about this whole having kids thing. He's like, we can get gene testing, which I said that. He tells her, I can see a family with you. She says, the idea is just still so new to me. Some days I'm just selfish. I only have to take care of me. And there goes the truth. All this bullshit about not knowing what you're going to pass down to your kids. Like, girl, if you don't want kids, you could just say that. She's like, what if I can't provide for my kid? One time, I maxed out my credit card. Girl, literally shut up. Over to the Connor and Breezy reveal, they seem to like what they see. She calls him out for his sweaty ass hands, and I ain't gonna lie, my shit's probably be sweatier. Good reveal overall though. Back to boring ass Kevin, they ask him, what percentage are you at for each of these girls? Of course he can't answer that. He says he's ready to tell Tyler she's the one. He jumps into the pod doing his best Adele impression, talking about some hello? Hello? Ain't nothing on the other side but pillows and oxygen. Boom! Episode 5. This one's called Where the Hell is My Husband? We are back with freaking Kevin sitting up in there like the last episode of Fresh Prince. Tyler tells us, this isn't my husband. Yes, girl, we literally all knew that. He goes back to tell the boys at MQ that she left. Let's see if he goes to Kia for the scraps. Over to the Devontae and Brittany W reveal. The first thing she says, what I was expecting was probably a little bigger. He's shorter than I thought, and he's sticky, and he's not someone I would have gone for. She says it's all good though. We all gonna get fat one day, girl. His family is watching the show while grieving. This man is missing his granddad funeral to get called short, fat, and sticky the day he meets his fiance. You hate to see it. That's what I wrote. He tells us he was excited to see that she was a woman of color, because that's something he's never dated. This nigga's name is Devontae, but never dated a woman with no seasoning. Wild. He's out there sweating his balls off. Maybe let's do this sticky. He's talking about how we're going to get married and have babies. You said it. He tells her he's going to walk backwards so he can still see her. She's like, you can turn your big ass around now. Back to Emma and Mike. Ugh. He's going to propose. She wrote something. He wrote something. He gets on a knee, asks the question. She says yes. Onward. And from one lame story to another, now Kevin is in MQ telling his sob story. Vic and they're talking about you dodged a bullet. They both did. They tell him to tell Kia the truth and be honest. He takes his weak-ass outfit over to find her in the pods. He tells her, my heart has always been with you, Kia. Shut up. You're a flower that bloomed. Shut up. You opened my heart to find that love. Shut up. This is one of the most beautiful experiences I've had. Shut up. He tells her I have to be accountable. I made some decisions with Tyler yesterday. No, nigga, you made her your girlfriend. Then she left you. Kia tells him, I've never been a second option. She gives him a taste of his own medicine, a nice long-ass speech. I have love for you, but I'm not in love with you. You are not ready for a relationship, not one of this magnitude. Literally, amen. I knew she was smart. Kevin, literally get the fuck up out of here. But she ain't done. Y'all thought she was done? She's not done. She says, by the way, Tyler deserved more. I got to stand on business. Get your shit together. And the crowd goes wild. She goes back to WQ to tell the girls the news. They're out there cheering like they won gold at the Winter Olympics. Over at MQ, the guys are like, let's go, Kev. We here to cheers. Kev's like, chill. They're only cheering because she dumped my bitch ass. Over to the Emma and Mike reveal. This dude's looking for the scars. Just kidding. He said he's never dated an Asian before, and the scars don't bother him. Overall, a decent reveal, but this won't work either. And now, 7 couples are set, headed to their romantic getaway. 6 couples went to Cabo, Mexico, and 1 couple went to Malibu, California. What's even going on here? And here I thought it would be Devontae and Brittany because this dude's grandpa died, but it's freaking Victor and fucking Christine. Segregation. Anyway, some quick scenes here. Devontae and Brittany W are talking about race. She's like, did I sound white? He's like, yeah. Why do you think I picked you? We find out that her dad is black and her mom is Colombian, but adopted. Need that Emma collab. Jessica and Chris wake up talking about height. Still, she's saying how nice it is to be away from their phones. She says the news stresses her out because of her strong political views, which we know what that means. Chris says, I love that you're so passionate about politics, which we also know what that means. Ugh, won't work out. Christine and Victor, who I'm still not sure is an AI, he's just out here oddly repeating her. She's like, yeah, we're in the sauna. We're in the sauna. We hit the gym. We hit the gym. Could work out though. And why haven't they addressed why they're not in Mexico? Back to Devontae and Brittany W. again, talking about how he normally wouldn't go after her non-white ass, but how he sees that love is blind and how that's his person. That's what he said. That's what he's telling us. Then they talk about running with big titties. Take it easy, Devontae. Do not think this is going to work out. Amber and Jordan still vibing. Could work out. Amber says she's down to smash, but she's also down to wait. Just sex. But As soon as this dude Jordan brings out that freaking CPAP machine, I knew for sure wasn't gonna be no smashing in there. Ashley and Alex are talking about reading, then the stupid "don't look at me with those eyes." The most cringy sexual tension. This for sure ain't gonna work. Bree and Connor are in bed trying to cross his legs. This could work. Then Emma and Mike, I already forgot about them. She's awkwardly laughing about what, I have no idea. I said it already, but won't work out. Boom! Episode 6. This one's called Never Have I Ever. Here we got our first day wake ups. Emma and Mike said night 1 was magical. They was smashing. Amber and Jordan smashed. Alex and Ashley was smashing crazy. Christine and Big Boring Ass being boring, smash inconclusive. Connor and Bree, we find out that it was Connor's birthday, so hopefully they got that birthday smash. Jessica and Chris definitely smashed. Okay, quick scene here with Alex and Ashley on the beach talking about soccer players, which obviously I don't know nothing really about it, but they mentioned Tim Howard, I think it's like a United States goalie, and he calls him a weirdo. Then he says that David Beckham isn't even good. Like, bro, do you realize you just told us that you was drafted 23rd and how injuries ended your career? David Beckham's not good. Like, you're on a dating show. Whatever. It's time for the first couple meetups. Usually one of the best parts of the show, but it's season 10. Whatever, I'm gonna still talk about it. Everyone is starting to show up. You know, Devontae's in there like, wait a minute. All the other girls are white? Damn. That prude Brittany W is here telling everyone that they just went to first base. Bree is mad that all the convos seem to be surface level, which is actually a very good call out. But I was confident that when the phase started kicking in, they would start getting deep. She's trying to make it happen. There ain't nobody fucking with it. The girls are doing their usual. Everyone is with who they're supposed to be with. Fools. To the debrief, starting with Bree and Connor. She's still complaining that people didn't get deep. He's like, did you want Chris to just pull you aside? Just say that. He's like, I didn't pull Emma. She's like, you wanted to just act like it didn't happen? She's making a good point. Connor's looking disgusted. Let the girl get her part too. Brittany W and Devontae are already over. She said when she wakes up, she got to go find him in the morning. And he doesn't go in for the smooches. Now to the excursions. Emma and Mike are on those ET bikes. Chris and Jess driving a convertible. Bree and Connor are sandboarding. And Devontae is trying to Sean Kingston Britt to get rid of her. So they finally sit down and talk. Brittany tells him, I feel like you've been a little distant. He's like, sometimes I just need to be in my do-nothing bag. Huh? Like, bro, you just met this girl. You already need space. She does not get the answers that she was seeking. Alex and Ashley are talking about living together. He says he has no reservations about living with her. Remember that. Chris and Jess are talking about not having kids. It's not about her age. He says, yeah, people get excited about like teaching their kids things. I don't care. Whoa, take it easy, Chris. Now we got a pool day with all the couples. These dudes are doing tricks on the slide and freaking Bree's still out there like, why we not getting deep? She takes matters into her own hands and talks to Chris one-on-one. And would you believe she's still trying to bag this dude? Talking about doing all those cold plunges and shit like that. She tells him we can still do those things. I even told Connor Chris does ice plunges and I'm gonna do them with him. Chris trying to protect himself is like, I just feel like, yeah, you guys have that connection where you could tell him that. She's like, you do? Chris is like, uh-oh. She's like, yeah, for you and Jess, I see it. But you really see it for me and Connor? Whoa. Meanwhile, Connor's there like, damn, my insecurities are coming back up. He pulls up on Emma for some boring-ass convo. Then the whole crew pulls up to play Never Have I Ever. Ugh, I hate that game. Britt is still not feeling the physical with Devontae. She even offered to let him smash. Whoa, pulling out the big guns. But watch this. The first 6 episodes are almost done, and we get our first little cup of tea. Alex is trying to pull up on Brittany because she's his normal type. Holy moly. He tells her things are going well with Ashley, but she's a different physical type than he would have normally gone after. She's like, so is Devontae. He tells her, I like darker features. I'm still trying to gauge if the physical matches the emotional. Brittany's like, have you told her this? He's like, briefly. No, you didn't. I would love to hear. She's like, yeah, I haven't told him that he's not my normal type. What's the normal type? She's like, you know, tall, dark, athletic. Jesus, Brittany, why would you give him that? I'm here for this first little bit of spice this season has, but bro, Ashley's hot. Shut the hell up. Every time someone says, I typically go physical first, but now I want to go on Love is Blind to change the narrative. Those people never change the narrative. Now Alex and Ashley are debriefing. She's like, any good convos? Any flirty girls? He's like, nope. I was just uplifting all the relationships, but Brittany and Devontae, though, they may have some work to do. But that's not my place to say. Even though I just did say it directly to Brittany behind your back. But no, nothing flirty. We can run the tape if you want. I'm at home like, girl, run the tape. I swear to God, I've said it every year. People have no idea that this show is indeed being recorded. We'll get back to them. Now Bree and Connor are talking about her time with Chris. She's like, I needed the part 2. And low-key, could use a part 3 if I'm being honest. God damn, Bree, take it easy. Connor's like, yeah, when I cut someone off in the pods, I was done with it. Didn't love to see you falling all over Chris. She's like, look, him and Jess make sense. So there's nothing to worry about. Just be patient with me. Back to Devontae and Brittany. She's like, you don't interact with me. He tells her, I don't want to talk all day. There's a lot going on, like my family. Honestly, this nigga lying on his dead gramps, diabolical. And boom! That's boring ass episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Good fucking God. Honestly, sometimes I watch these things and I'm like, man, there's not enough heat in here to make a whole video about it. And then sometimes I just get to talking about it and I'm like, okay, I guess that was funny. Or I guess that was interesting. So you guys let me know. I thought it was boring, but because y'all be thinking a lot of stuff is boring, that I'd be like, no, that wasn't boring. Like, that was fire. But this one, I was like, God damn. Sorry you guys had to sit through that. I was just trying to make it some level of it enjoyable for you. So, damn. If you made it through the end of this, I need that hashtag all the way. Then I got to send someone a free t-shirt. Put the hashtag all the way. Then I'm going to do a t-shirt contest. If you put the hashtag all the way, I'm going to pick a random person and mail them a t-shirt. Because this is a t-shirt worthy first 6 episodes. You got to be in the United States, though. Sorry. I can't do it. Maybe Canada. That's fine. Canada's good, too. Whoa. Okay. Logistics. Next week, we're going to talk about episodes 7, 8, and 9. We'll go from there. In the comment, well, let me do my little ending thing. As always, thanks for checking out Taste Take. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. In the comments, why the fuck are Victor and Christine not in Cabo? Why they didn't explain that? Whatever. I hope you guys all have a lovely Valentine's Day weekend. You know the drill. We talked about this already. If you're spending time with your sugar plum, just go ahead and throw my video on in the background because you guys are going to be canoodling. If you don't have a sugar plum, go ahead and throw me on because I told you I'm your sugar plum. So we're going to sugar plum this thing together. Also in the comments, since the episodes were kind of boring, if you're still watching this part now, put what are your Valentine's Day plans? If you coupled up, put those. If you single, put those. Y'all doing Galentines? Y'all just going out? Y'all going on vacations? Or y'all don't celebrate Valentine's Day? Thanks for the time, y'all. Peace. Okay, normally I'll do some rambles here, but I have to leave for work in 6 minutes. I can't even believe I finished this with 6 minutes to go. Damn. Hell yeah. And the phone be overheating. I film on the phone. That should be getting hot. Didn't even overheat once I opened the window, bro. It's 20 degrees. I opened the window to try to avoid the phone overheating. It's 23 degrees. This is what I do